Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon from London. My name is Anna Doku. I'm a representative of New Way Consultancy. It's our pleasure to organize the other virtual meeting to provide an update to students about their studies in the UK. This time, focus will be completely different because we are focused in visa and immigration issues. Today, our special guest is the immigration expert, Barrister Mehdi Hassan. Hello, Mr. Mehdi,
Hello.
and welcome. Thanks for your time. It's the second time for us to do it. Thank you.
Yes, we can start the program.
Okay, let's start with some general question. But before, I wanted to highlight to every students, please join us and ask your questions about your visa and immigration issues. Also, I have prepared some general question related with these situations. So my first questions for Mr. Mehdi is, due to these situations, can you please tell us what is the effect of the international student?
Oh, exactly. That is okay. Before going to address the matters, I'd like to really thanks all the audience all over the world, ladies and gentlemen, those who are connected to our program today, and also they will listen later on from the video. I'd like to request to be vigilant and take care about the health first. Anyway, as Anna asked me the question, let me start from there. What is happening in UK? Obviously, this is a turning point, and this is really a global hub for the world education. There is no doubt about it, and there is one of the best and so many best university in UK. Obviously, it is known to everybody. But very unfortunate, this is what's really happening. The crisis of the world, the pandemic, COVID-19 have devastated everything. University door been closed, classroom is everything closed. Even all the physical activities almost closed. Everybody working from virtually from home or from the university campus as student or the teacher can manage. In the same time, I do believe it is a serious effect to those who are out of this country, those who are already stuck. Maybe they are traveling to their home country. They're supposed to come back by March or in onward after that, but nothing happened actually. They cannot really come because there is no flight at all. It is completely unexpected scenario. And somebody also came to UK to get the admission done or to meet their university or to know far better about their study and the course. But somehow they're really stuck, or maybe somehow they are already get an offer. They're supposed to go back and start the visa rolling or to get the visa done from the back home and start their new life, the study life in London or UK, but completely they are really stuck. They don't know what to do in this scenario.
Yes.
So I would like to address that if you obviously in this crisis time, I would like to say students should be vigilant what is happening towards their study, towards the university, and also the immigration law in UK because it is a changing scenario. The government also taking every step to give the remedy to the student, to the university, also the academic council or academic institution, those who are related with that, and also I do believe that, and the timetable. In the meantime, the British government have declared so many initiatives so that they can, to protect the student, those are already stuck here, or they're already stuck in their back home, they cannot come back, or they cannot even continue their study. I do hope within this development scenario, there is so many changes and drastic change really happened, which never happened in United Kingdom in the immigration law. So I do believe on the basis of your requirements, Anna, and also your questions, you can throw me particular question so that I can address properly. So it might really help the student, those who are connected with you.
Yes,
Thank you.
great. Thank you so much. My first question is, until now, the government has received two decisions for extension visa. The first decision is that students can extend their visa until in the May 2020 for students who the visa expire in January 2020. And the other decision is that can extend their visa until in the July 2020. But what's happened with these students after July 2020? Can they apply for studies in the UK for September intake?
Uh, Thank you very much for this nice question. Yes, obviously it is true. Yes, those who actually are already student in United Kingdom and they're really stuck right now, and they're supposed to finish their course, but they couldn't. And also, some of the course which is not the higher education, for example, the masters or the PhD or any other upper level of education. I mean, somebody even is called the visitor student, or short-term student. They came here to complete their course or even to complete the short course and go back and start the course back again. In that case, yes, in this pandemic scenario, the university and the government is giving them opportunity to apply for their extension, even though they don't have any kind of progress in their the last academic year or during this period. But obviously, as you understand, that is technically also impossible. At the same time, those who are supposed to go back to their country of origin to start their course, they don't need to go back. That is the important thing. And uh, in the meantime, what I believe that those students are suppose already they have visa been expired in between this time, January 24th to 31st of July, and they don't have any cause, they don't have any admission yet with any university or a sponsor provider. So if they can contact with them and if they can really get the cause or any kinds of authority that they will be getting the admission, yes, they can apply. Even normal rule is that the student should apply for the visa before the start of their course, not more than 28 days before. But right now, because of the pandemic scenario, all the students, those who are already here, they can even start their course or they can get the confirmation of the course right now, and they can start applying for their visa extension at this stage, even though the course might start at the end of September or even October. So it is not the question of 28 days compliance is not mandatory at this stage.
Okay, yes, thank you so much. It is possible for students to apply for visa from here, UK, or they need to go back in their countries, the same rule that has before for all international students?
And yes, no, it is not. It is not necessary because it's not technically possible. They cannot really go back, and also they can. Those who are already here, they can apply on the basis of their circumstances. Even if they have any kinds of shortfall of documentation, for example, sponsor documentation or the financial proof, still they can go ahead and should go ahead with the application with the consent of the university to apply for their extension at the same time. So even though before this 31st of July, if they apply, even the course is starting, assume a course is starting in September, end of September, or 1st of October, or even after a little bit, I believe that not because of the little week difference or the month difference, if the course started, even it's my observation that only because of this kind of the silly failure, the home office will never penalize the student. So every student should take this opportunity, I believe, and also education life is a priority. Obviously, they should think about it, and instead of going back, if they can start their course here, and also they can switch over, or I mean, after completion of their course here, the graduation or the masters, whatever, depending on the circumstances, they can also switch their visa to any category, whatever they like, and without leaving this country because of this pandemic scenario. And I would like to add one more point. Those who are already stuck as a visitor, maybe they have a plan to study here or they had a plan to continue and get the more information done regarding any proper university or the course. But in between, they are really stuck. But they have a plan and dream to study here. In that case, even a visitor without their previous student visa requirements, I believe, they can still pursue the study in UK and they can apply for long-term study visa instead of going back and start the process from the beginning. So it is a kind of opportunity, I do believe, and also they can request for discretion to be used, and technically from all over sources it is now pretty much clear home office is not going to penalize, and home office of the government itself is going to really take this silly mistake or the failure. They will take it very leniently. So I believe the students should really take the opportunity at this stage. That is my understanding.
Yes, thank you so much. Can they face with the big problems such as refuse to study in the UK in this pandemic session?
There is a less possibility. As I told you, for silly reason, there should not be the failure. If any unreasonable ground, for example, they have every ground to be here, they have every ground. I mean, there is a high possibility that they might not be able to really provide every document, whatever necessary at this stage, from their back home or from their parents or from financial institution or the scholarship authority. In that case, I do believe for that kind of failure will not really cause any kinds of big problem at all. But if the student, for example, he got an extension here and he tried to continue the study, and after that, obviously he is also in compliance to continue his progress, to show that he has completed or is going to continue his graduation and going to complete his graduation. I mean, it doesn't really mean that if somebody failed to pass or failed to get the progress in afterward, not okay, one day this crisis is over, and after that, what I believe that will this an exemption, will this exceptional the cases will be continue. I believe it is not. Student must study or student must pass this year and obviously get the graduation done, and after that they can switch over to the dream way, whatever they dream for. That could be the general rule will comply again, so that they can continue their normal life here, and they can switch over, they can move to the work permit, tier 2 they can go to even tier 1, as it is the new point based immigration, even high skill scheme coming from January next year. Student, if the student is here actually, for example, and if they can continue their study here without going back to their back home, and successfully they can complete their course of study, whatever they're going to really conduct and they're going to do from September or October, or whatever they have done in the past, maybe some point they have not even completed their course. Maybe somebody even they need to resit for the exam, they need to resit for some subject, or they need to submit some research paper and this and that. Still, I they don't need to go back to their country, they can continue it here, and they can complete it here, and after that they can take every opportunity whatever is coming as a skilled person in near future, which is coming completely, which is going to start even from January 31st, I mean 1st of January next year, 2021.
Okay, thank you so much. Before I start with other question, I also wanted to say to students, please don't hesitate to ask your questions, because I read all of them for a few minutes. Okay, the last question for me is for applicant who have dependent visa. Can they switch this visa in tier 4 visa, and what are the requirements? Can they apply from UK?
Yes, Anna, thanks for your question. It's very relevant nowadays because some student is here, maybe the sponsor or the partner is with either the husband or the wife. In that case, what will really happen? It might really happen the student not feeling comfortable to continue the study other way around, or spouse is also confident to get to continue the study at the same point. So yes, it is possible that sponsor. I mean, even though the sponsor is, in any reason, could be maybe they have a bad relation with them. Yes, technically correct. So what might really happen to the sponsor, or what might happen to the spouse, right? So in that case, yes, spouse should be entitled and can apply for the studentship, and this is a good opportunity. I do believe, even at that stage, it is a pandemic scenario. Even if there is no doubt, or I think if this is the scenario that either one person is not incapable or other person is more confident to really continue the study, yes, even a student spouse can convert and go to the tier 4 student status. That could be a wise idea as well.
Okay, thank you so much. Also, for students who will finish the first master in September, also they have applied for second master to start also in the September. It is possible for university to send to them the cast letter before the university can open, because it's difficult for students to apply for T4 visa without cast letter.
Yes, Anna, this is depend on the university, and There's case-to-case basis. So not every university is blanketly can follow this rule. But yes, depending on the student past and their academic background, student university obviously can take this opportunity to offer a place or can issue the CAS as conditional CAS that yes, we can issue the CAS depending on if successfully, or you can continue the course in the meantime until even you got the visa confirmation from the home office. But if it should be a conditional, obviously, that if home office impliedly once the student is going to apply with the CAS until even get visa confirmation from the home office, still the students should and could continue their study here. And obviously if any kinds of any kinds of incidental, the negative things happen after a few months, for example maybe 6 months, maybe 1 year, nobody knows about the backlog now, what is going on. In that case, there is a home office guideline and also the announcement. Yes, the home office then may ask the student not to continue their study. That is obviously true. That's normally it's really happened. It could be because of different reason. Could be criminal record. Could be
Yeah.
fundamental funds. Could be shortfall or fundamental documentation. Could be completely impossible to manage. In that case, obviously, home office can advise according to the law, and obviously university and the student obviously they will also comply according to their advice. But at this stage, no, they can continue. Yes, they can get the CAS, and obviously they can approach to their university depending on their what sort of relation they have and what sort of documentation and their past career and past evidence of study they have to satisfy the university. And I do hope that university obviously will consider these matters very softly.
Okay, thank you so much. And my last question is, what is your advice for students who will start in October 2020?
October 2020, those students already had a plan to continue their study in this country, regardless of their status right now, regardless of their status, I mean, whether they have completed their course ongoing one or they need to go back and get the visa done from their back home country or country of origin. I think they should not at this stage, because no country in the world is safe at this point. Even traveling is more dangerous at this stage. We don't know even when and how we're going to fly and what could be the consequences after that. So in that case, even though if somebody fly, new rule says he or she must come to the airport and stay in isolation for 14 days time. So you mean even though somebody try to travel for their own personal reason and then again he come back, he will be stuck either in the airport or their own accommodation. So he might not be able to really go back to the university authority to consult and to get the CAS done or even to do all the necessary work, whatever needed. So the best idea, whatever is happened, and pandemic scenario, we're all locked down. I think instead of taking this risk, not to really go back or not to take the further risk, I think they should uh, seriously take this opportunity and apply for the October or September session and try to adjust their immigration status from here. That is my understanding.
Thank you so much for your advice. Now I'll read some comments and questions by students. Can I ask a question? Yes, you can ask. He asked, it is possible to switch the dependent visa to Tier 4 visa? And what is the deadline to apply for the switch visa?
In fact, it is difficult to tell you the deadline because of situation. It might really happen. People is thinking about even second time reverse of this coronavirus if something really happened. Obviously, right now at this stage, we can think this is almost going to over. From next week, we're going to have some normal life, right? So even the dependent, yes, they should really take the opportunity before 31st because we believe it is a pandemic, exceptional circumstances. So if we try to rely, if we try to rely or try to over rely this opportunity after this July, yes, we should not speculate and we should not speculate about the government position or even the scenario what is going to really happen. So I do hope at this stage there is no clear picture about after this 31st. But obviously, some body may be really in trouble. They might not be able to really do something before that. Still, I believe exception is all over the world, isn't it? So yes, if somebody is really in trouble, they should think about technically they should think about the exception.
Okay, thank you so much. The other question is, I just completed my international foundation year and my visa is going to expire on the 5th of August. But at the moment, I'm unable to return due to ongoing pandemic. Can I extend my visa here in UK without turning back at home, since I'm gonna continue with the degree this September?
Yes, of course, he should really continue from here. That's
She-
obviously true.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. I don't have more questions. If you have something to say at the end, you can do it now. Also, if
Yeah,
you have questions.
yeah. In my conclusion to the program, I'd like to really address to my all dear students, those who are here. I had a long past of student life in UK as well, so I can remember how painful it is and how obviously interesting it is. Both is still involved. So obviously, students are missing their classmate, teacher, and their friends, and also the books and library. So it is very difficult to continue everything from virtually from home. But obviously, if you have a good dream, this day will be over. This dark day will be over from the world, and you'll be able to continue your study. In the meantime, if you have, don't try to rely on my advice all the time, or it is information only. Take it as general advice. If you try to decide seriously to do, you can consult with the Home Office website, development and how to apply, or you can email them or call them. There is a particular number. I can read it for your help. It's Home Office direct number. You can, a pandemic scenario time, you can also call them to get the information. 0800 678 1767, or you can email them cih@homeoffice.gov.uk. So this is all about, but always we take it as a general advice for your, it is important thing. But in general, what is the precaution I would like to really request that you can do that. But yes, if there is any legal complication, you can contact with a legal representative. As I told you, you can contact the Home Office. You can consult with the Home Office even guideline and their website. In further, if you have still now there's a little difficulties, they can contact the authority like NWC or university council, student council directly, or email them. But I think you should not really sit down and believing that something more better really might really happen. If you have a status problem, I do believe you try your best. Try to take all the reasonable steps to adjust yourself, to regularize your situation. In that case, if there is any shortfall, any kinds of failure even, I think you can defend it and you will be success. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all this information. Also, my advice is don't hesitate to start your application as soon as possible. We are here to help you for every issues that you have. MUA Consultancy has a great staff in order to help you for every questions. Thanks again, Mehdi. We really appreciate this virtual meeting and all your information. Take care, stay safe, and I hope that this situation will finish soon and we'll start, and all students to start their studies in the September. Thank you so much. And
Hey everybody, be safe and stay safe and enjoy your day at the same time. Thank you very much.
thank you. Bye.
Bye.